So thinking about what Pufferfish is as a company and what we do for core technology, we are historically known for spherical and hemispherical touch interactive displays. Now, the company's been around for 20 years. We originally started, some of the first out of our product was on the 2008 Coldplay tour, and back then they were large inflatable spheres. We've moved on since then. Obviously, we still do the spheres that we've been known for, but we now work in LED products, spherical and non-planar displays. Well, I think the development since 2008, we're constantly refining the technology. We're always looking to move on in what is latest we can use in projection, brightness, resolution. Obviously, hemispherical lenses, which we have to use, are the limiting factor for us, as it's not a huge global market for those. So PT stands for PufferTouch, and this is now our 4th generation platform. Really driven, the change was driven by projector technology moving on. We expect at some point the model we're currently using to go end of life. We went through the market, evaluated all the vendors, but ultimately with the support of the product, elected to carry on with Barco in their product lines. So here what we have, it's brighter, it's lighter, it's quieter, but we've also done a lot of work under the hood in terms of refining our touch systems, but also starting to build for the future, looking at how we can bring enhanced interactivity, what else we can begin to bring to that market, because the experiential sector of the market is still a very developing sector. So a lot of our projects, although the core of the product is standard, a lot of our work ends up being custom. So we need the flexibility to adapt to the storytelling environment that the customer wants to bring forward. We have our 3 divisions. So PufferStudio is our software and graphic and motion graphics team. PufferTech is what we refer to our manufacturing business products, and PufferEvents is our rental division. And I think we always did these elements, but it wasn't clear to the market the kind of the 3 pillars that the business is built on. We found rental customers didn't know we sold them and vice versa. And I think again, when we look at the content side of things, very often when you get into more bespoke type projects, there is software engineering required in the background or for content production. As I always say, the world doesn't necessarily need another media production house, but our differential is we understand from the picture on the screen to the pixels on the display. So we're always designing with the end output in mind, but again, on unusual geometries. I would say as a business, flat LED walls is not necessarily anywhere that we add value, but when we get into bespoke, and as I refer to non-planar display shapes, that's where I believe our expertise allows us to deliver something unique. I think the other thing, if you look at the wider audiovisual industry, in one way or another, we deliver almost every screen that's out there, but we deliver almost none of the content. And that's again, bringing that division out is what we're looking at doing is, can we help our channel partners sort of retain a little bit more of the pie by having access to content services to also deliver with the displays? We're always going into some form of interactive space. Corporate, higher education, and obviously museums and visitor attractions is where we find ourselves. So it's just looking at what is the experience or the emotion that you want your customer or your visitor to experience, and what technology do we bring to bear. I always say as a business, we start with, what's your story? What do you want to tell? What's your achievement? And for me, then the technology to enable that comes second, once we know what we're trying to achieve.